Texas A&M heading to Kissimmee, Florida for the ESPN Events Invitational. This is our last.
I gotta interrupt. How'd you pronounce it?
Is it Kissimmee? I thought it was Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
I'm not from Florida, everybody. It's Orlando.
I just wanted to. I lived in Orlando, so like I never heard it that way. So that was like
literally. So like German is my second language. I tell people this all the time. The reason I mispronounce words is that I read all of it. And
no, I'm with you, dude. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, you're welcome to give me a hard time. You're welcome to give me a hard. You know how many times I've mispronounced something on this show? Trust me, plenty.
Same here, man. Same here. Especially names. Oh my god. I can't do the names. I'm terrible at names.
You should have seen him in our front court versus back court top fives, Connor. It was awful.
Connor, so one more time, Connor, how do you correctly pronounce this suburb of Orlando?
Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
Yeah.
Kissimmee. Okay. Kissimmee, Florida, at the ESPN Worldwide Events Center there. Decent field. Really, when you look at this thing overall to wrap up Feast Week, other than Texas A&M here, who do you think is the team to pay attention to in this field, guys? Connor, we'll start with you.
I'm kind of torn between either Iowa State or Boise State. I think both of these teams are really good. I'm probably going to lean Iowa State just for the unfortunate it's not mid-major erasure, but as the power conference team there, I do think Iowa State's probably going to be one of the better teams in this field. So, but Boise State, projected them to win today, so we'll see. But I think that they're a pretty good team too.
Yep, I also have Boise State having a pretty good game today as well. So we're definitely going to see how that goes down. Maddie, who's the team other than Texas A&M that you're keeping an eye out for?
You know, I think in this opener, they're going to have a rough time with Penn State.
Really? That is a heck of a take.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a take.
She's going for the fences, though. I respect it.
I didn't say they're going to lose, but I think Penn State's going to be a good matchup for them. I think someone that people aren't really watching for, but I think their style of play is going to give the Aggies a little bit of difficulty here.
I do like Ace Baldwin. I do like Ace Baldwin for Penn State. I think he's a solid player for them. I don't think he's a Wade Taylor, but I do like him. So
I will watch with intrigue now that you've said that, Maddie, just for the sake of it. I'm interested, but I'm with Connor on that. There's a couple of guys who can play basketball in Penn State, but not a team that I'm really threatened by at all. Given how much they've lost and how much they've had to rebuild this team this season. Definitely.
I mean, I would not have had that take at all if I wasn't helping with the graphics and caught a few of their highlights. I was like, this is going to be more interesting than I thought it was.
Okay, I'll take it. I will take you on your research. All right, so now that we've got that, I got Florida Atlantic. I'm looking at how they respond after taking a loss this weekend and see if they are actually, still a March question mark, or if it is, they are going to be a good team like some people are suggesting. So that's the team I'm kind of looking at. All right. So Maddie, you've kind of given us your wild opinion on the Penn State game. Connor, any thoughts that you have to add to Texas A&M versus Penn State?
I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna end up looking more like maybe like a 15-point win there at the end, kind of in that buffer zone of like 9 to 11 points for the most part, and then they late game fouls or whatever, they end up not squeaking out, but they end up winning comfortably there. Maybe not covering. I don't know what the spread is, what the line is on that, but I could see them not covering Texas A&M just because in these tournaments it's really hard to cover, I think.
It is always hard to cover, especially because you got a little bit more fatigue going on. But I can definitely see keeping it close for like 30 minutes and then Texas A&M starting to pull away there. All right, so game 2, we are dealing with, of course, Florida Atlantic, who was everybody's favorite team in the world last March, and Dusty May and the guys there. But they just took a pretty unbelievable loss to Bryant this week. So Al's trying to bounce back with Butler, and Butler's out there trying to prove they're not going to be one of the worst teams in the Big East this season. Who do you guys think A&M ends up facing, and what do you think about that potential matchup? Connor, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Man, this is a hard game to pick because both of these teams are coming off losses that I don't think they should have lost. Like Bryant, obviously, is an 0-3 team, well, now a 1-3 team that they have they just hired their head coach, which is Michigan's temporary coach's son. You know what I mean? Like They're just going through a lot, so they had no reason to lose that game, especially coming off a Final Four appearance. Butler, I picked them to beat Michigan State. They lose by 20. So I thought Butler was playing better ball. I do think Posh Alexander is the best player in this matchup, despite this is not, like I do like John L. Davis and I do like Golden, but I think Posh Alexander is probably the best ball handler and scorer in this matchup. I'm gonna actually give it to Florida Atlantic, though. I think that the sum of their parts is better than the whole of Butler, so I think they'll squeak out a win, maybe an overtime win. To be honest with you, I think it's gonna be a really fun game, though.
Okay, that'll be thrilling, actually. But you're right, Florida Atlantic. Also, another reason I'm kind of leaning Owls here. It's a team that's been together, and that does make it. That makes a difference early in the season, especially in this age in the transfer portal when you're bringing players in. And these guys have stayed together through that course of Final Four. They know how to win. So I'm going to take Florida Atlantic here in this game to advance to play A&M. Maddie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go Florida Atlantic against A&M. Obviously, Butler would probably be the better matchup for the Aggies, somebody they would want to see more of.
Yeah.
But, I think when we look at, like we always say, experience wins here. I think Florida Atlantic's going to out-edge Butler for sure.
Okay, so who do you have in that potential matchup? Florida Atlantic or Texas A&M? We'll go around the horn real fast.
I have the Aggies. I think Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford, Henry Coleman, those are three awesome players that they can beat, I think, anybody in the nation at this point.
It's fair enough. Maddie?
Yep, I'm going Texas A&M there.
All right. So let's look at the other side of the bracket. Aggies will either face Boise State, VCU, Virginia Tech, which is Buzz's old team, or Iowa State. What team interests you the most on the other side of the bracket?
You want to go first, Maddie?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm sticking with Iowa State there. I think they're going to be kind of a shock for some people. But like Connor said, they're pretty crafty. I think they're going to do well against Texas A&M or do well against the other side of the bracket, and we'll see them play Texas A&M later in the tournament.
Okay, Connor, who do you got?
I'm with Maddie here on this one. Iowa State. I really wanted Keyshawn Gilbert, like on whatever team I root for. I wanted him. I think they're a really good team. They cover. They do whatever they need. Like the good teams win, great teams cover. They cover. They've covered in every game so far. I mean, obviously against mid majors, but still playing really good ball. They've scored more than 85 points in all three of their matchups. One of them being 102 points, which is kind of different from the previous Iowa State teams that we've seen the last couple of years. They've been offensively been gross, but really strong defensively. So it's kind of like the opposite of their football team, I guess. So give me Iowa State in this one to match up with Texas A&M.
Yeah, so the team I have of interest here is Boise State. I definitely think that you guys are probably right. Iowa State would be the most likely matchup if the Aggies were to advance into a championship game, but Boise State would be that other team to keep an eye out for. Right now, they are down 3 at time of recording between them and Clemson, so we'll see how that goes. But, Boise State, quality basketball team. Mountain West has been an improving conference every season. In fact, in KenPom last season, they finished higher than the ACC. There are decent teams coming out of the Mountain West, and Boise State is definitely one of them. Couple of players, Max Rice hitting those 3-pointers out there for Boise State. They've got some dudes. Agbo, I believe is how you pronounce that. I haven't watched enough Boise State basketball to admit that I haven't know that. But game high 19 points, averaging 17 points a night for the Broncos. Good player. I do think that Boise State has the potential to make some noise in this tournament. So if it's not Iowa State, I'm going with Boise State. I'm
with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how that'll line up there. To keep us a little bit shocked and give another look at a decent team. And I think Texas A&M fans want to play Boise State after last season.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Where do you have the Aggies finishing? What are you guys thinking here?
I think they win it. I think they win it all. I do like Iowa State. I like Boise State. I think if they match up with either of those teams in the championship game, I think they're the best team in this field. And I think that they're going to win it. It's going to be chalk, unfortunately.
Maddie, your thoughts?
Yep, Texas A&M coming out with a win here. Going to be a good tournament, but yeah, I think they're going to get some points added to their net for sure.
All right, so I'm going to keep it chalk, and here we go. It's unanimous pick time, which has been a downfall for us almost every episode in some game. So I'm going Texas A&M. I think Wade Taylor, Boots Radford, those guys going to be way too much to handle for some of these teams, and I think the backcourt's exceptional. but we've also know our record currently this season with all three people pick the same team. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, let's go. Let's rock with it.